So, have you ever been staring at a problem, just totally stuck, feeling like there's no creative way out? Well, what if I told you there's a powerful system, a kind of cheat sheet for breaking through those creative blocks? Today, we're going to dive right into it. So, where does this all come from? Well, it's based on the work of a Russian engineer named Genrich Altschuler. Get this. He analyzed hundreds of thousands of patents, and he discovered something amazing. He found that the greatest inventions weren't just random strokes of genius. Nope, they actually follow a set of predictable, recurring patterns. He basically realized that creativity isn't magic, it's a science you can actually learn. So, let's make all that research super practical. We're going to take 5 of his most powerful patterns, what he called inventive principles, and drop them right into your problem-solving toolbox. And we're going to kick things off with principle number 21. Our first tool is Principle 21, and it's called skipping. And yeah, it's pretty much what it sounds like. This one is all about using extreme speed to your advantage. Here's the core idea. You take a process, or at least the tricky or harmful parts of it, and you do it at an incredibly high speed. Why? Because when you move fast enough, you can literally bypass the problems. Things like heat building up or materials warping, they don't even have a chance to happen. You just skip right over. Okay, check out these 2 great examples. First, a high-speed dentist drill. It spins so incredibly fast that it cuts before enough friction can build up to create a lot of heat and pain. And then, think about cutting plastic. If you go too slow, the blade heats up the plastic and you get a messy, melted edge. But if you slice through it fast enough, you get a clean cut because the blade is gone before the heat can spread and deform anything. In both cases, the solution is just to outrun the problem. Simple, right? All right, on to our next tool. This one is Principle 22, blessing in disguise. And honestly, this has to be the ultimate optimist's principle. This is such a cool, counterintuitive idea. It tells us to look at the harmful stuff, the things we normally try to get rid of, and instead ask, how can we use this to get something good out of it? You're not just fixing a problem, you're literally turning the problem itself into the solution. And this table just lays it out so perfectly. You've got waste heat? Don't just vent it, use it to generate electricity. Got scrap material? Don't treat it like trash, see it as the raw material for something else. And here's a wild one. To stop a huge forest fire, what do firefighters do? They start another controlled fire, a backfire, to burn up all the fuel in the main fire's path. They use the harmful thing itself to create a positive outcome. Okay, next up is Principle 23. Feedback. Now, this is the secret sauce for creating systems that are smart, responsive, and can actually correct themselves. The feedback loop is a beautiful, continuous cycle. Here's how it works. First, something happens, an action. Second, you measure the result of that action. That's your feedback. Third, you take that information and use it to adjust the original action. And fourth, the whole thing just repeats over and over, constantly making the system better. Think about the thermostat in your house. It's always measuring the room temperature. That's the feedback. And it tells the furnace to kick on or shut off. That's the adjustment to keep the room just right. It's a nonstop cycle of improvement. And now for our 4th tool, Principle 24, intermediary. This one is all about using a go-between, especially when a direct approach is maybe a little too difficult or damaging or just clumsy. So the whole idea here is to find a middleman. When doing something directly is risky or just won't work well, you bring in an intermediate object or process to get the job done for you, safely and precisely. This is a classic, absolutely perfect example. You're trying to sink a tiny nail so it's perfectly flush with the wood. If you use a big hammer for the last few taps, you're probably going to dent the wood all around it, right? But if you use a nail set, that's our intermediary, the hammer hits the nail set, and the nail set transfers all that force exactly where it needs to go, onto the nail head, without the hammer ever touching and damaging the wood. It's just a simple, elegant go-between. And that brings us to our final tool for today, and it might just be the most elegant one of all. Principle 25, self-service. The goal here is just genius. Make an object or a system work for itself. How do you do that? You design it so it can perform its own extra functions. And a lot of the time, you do that by cleverly using its own waste. It's all about building resourcefulness right into the design from the very start. These examples are so clever. Take a soda fountain. The pump that pushes the syrup is often powered by the pressure from the very same CO2 tank that's used to make the drink fizzy. The system is literally powering itself. Or how about a halogen lamp? As its filament burns off, the gas inside the bulb actually captures those particles and puts them back on the filament. It's a self-repairing system that makes the bulb last way longer. It's just brilliant design. So there you have it. 5 incredibly powerful patterns that are hiding behind some of the world's greatest inventions. We've seen how to use speed to literally skip over problems, how to turn something harmful into something helpful, and how to design things that can take care of themselves. These patterns, they're everywhere once you start looking for them. So the real question is, what problem are you going to solve now that you can see the pattern?